Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Jonathan Verstegen, and I'm going to be sharing a golf update with you guys today. A little bit of background for all of you that don't know me. I live in Southern California, born and raised here, grew up playing hockey, still play hockey, but was turned on to golf about 4 or 5 years ago and just been absolutely and utterly addicted ever since. I live with my wife, Melissa, and our dog, Ezzy. You may hear Ezzy from time to time. We call her a whistle. She doesn't bark or anything, but she has this high-pitched kind of shrill whistle sound that she releases. So you might hear that. But yeah, getting right into it, it's been a really, truly exciting past few weeks on tour with the conclusion of the FedEx Cup. So they had the playoffs the last few weeks. Ultimately, Dustin Johnson was able to be crowned victorious as the FedEx Cup champion for the first time in his career. And he now has more FedEx Cup playoff victories than anybody else, just edging out, I believe it was Rory McIlroy he was tied with for a while, perhaps Tiger as well. Rory and Tiger still have more FedEx Cups in general. This was DJ's first one, but it was a huge breakthrough moment for him as it was, his first time actually clinching it. So flashback, let's go through the actual playoff events, starting with the Northern Trust. And we saw Dustin Johnson absolutely obliterate the field. He shot -30 for the week, tying the second best scored apart ever on the PGA Tour. And he won by 11 strokes. So truly magnificent performance by DJ. He also shot a 60, which could have been much lower throughout the week. He went 11 under through the first 11 holes during one of his rounds, and then kind of just parred out from there. So definitely left a little bit on the table, but still a 60 is more than respectable. And he ended up again winning by 11 strokes. So that was the first playoff event. The next week was the BMW, where DJ ultimately finished second to Jon Rahm, who won in very dramatic fashion. And this was one of the most entertaining tournaments as far as the way it ended that I've seen in a very long time. Dustin Johnson needed to make a birdie putt on 18 to force a playoff against Jon Rahm, a huge double breaker, and he just absolutely drains it. Talk about a clutch putt, one of the most clutch putts that I've ever seen. And you really just wish the fans were there for it, right? They would have just erupted. The camera would have been shaking. Like the energy there would have been just unreal. But I was left watching it while my wife was asleep, trying to freak out without waking her up, doing really silent fist pumps in bed. But yeah, that was pretty fun to watch. So he forced the playoff, but Jon Rahm says, okay, I'm not going to let that get to me. In fact, I see the putt that you just made, DJ. Hold my beer. I'm going to make one twice as long. And sure enough, on the first playoff hole, Dustin Johnson, hits his approach shot to, within 20 feet or so. And Jon Rahm found himself playing from the rough, and he left himself a 66-foot putt. The announcers were all talking about how difficult of a 2-putt it was going to be. And sure enough, Jon Rahm absolutely nails this putt. It's a 1 in 100 putt, and he makes birdie, and he lets out an outpour of excitement that was so fun to watch. And even the few 10, 12 volunteers that were around there just absolutely went berserk. So fun to watch. DJ still had a chance to tie, but unfortunately he missed that putt, and Jon Rahm, won that tournament. So really excited for Jon Rahm. Quick side note on that is that Jon Rahm was assessed a 1-stroke penalty in one of the previous rounds. I believe it was the day before. Just a harebrained moment. He picked up his ball on the putting green without marking it, which you can't do. And he realized it right away. He wasn't trying to get away with anything. He just forgot. So he was assessed a 1-stroke penalty, but he didn't let it get to him. The old Jon Rahm would have been shook by that, would have gotten angry and probably played himself out of it and kind of self-destructed. But he hung on tight. And you have to know, stepping up to that first playoff hole, he was probably thinking like, wow, if I didn't do that stupid mistake, this tournament would already be over. I would have won by 1 stroke. But he held on and he did what he had to do to make that putt. So really great stuff by Jon Rahm. DJ still, however, entered the final tournament in the number 1 seed because he had won 2 weeks before that. The week before that, he got solo second, and he had played well enough throughout the season to secure that first position. So he started at -10 for the week. Jon Rahm started at -8. Justin Thomas at -7, so on and so forth. That's the new format that they've been doing last year and this year, just to make it kind of easier to understand how this tournament impacts the actual FedEx Cup itself. Whoever wins that tournament now wins the FedEx Cup. It used to be separate. You would have to win this tournament and then points would be calculated and then see if you would still win the FedEx Cup. There would oftentimes be two separate winners. This makes sure that they're both one kind of unified winner. So DJ was able to hold on and he increased his 2-shot lead to a 3-shot lead by the end of the week. The reason this tournament was so exciting as well was that the first, second, and third positions in the FedEx Cup matched perfectly with the first, second, and third positions of the world golf ranking. So you had the best 3 players in the world also at the top of their game in time for the FedEx Cup. Really exciting golf was played, and ultimately DJ held on. Little bit of controversy though about the format. Some people don't like that you start with an advantage if you're in the first seed, and that the players in the lower seeds don't really have as much of a chance to win the tournament. I am a fan. I think, the players earn the right to be there and they ought to be rewarded for playing better throughout the playoffs and throughout the season. So I am a fan, and still anybody can win. I think Justin Thomas, in fact, is a great example of that. He started in the first position last year at 10 under and Rory came back and won. So you still have to be able to play 4 great rounds of golf, even if you go in that first seed. So glad to see DJ was able to do that. Speaking of Justin Thomas though, he was actually named the Player of the Year by the PGA of America. So, quick little golf claps for JT. Really excited to see that. He played better than DJ throughout the entire year. TJ did struggle after the return to golf. He shot several rounds in the 80s, missed a few cuts. He just got really hot in time for the playoffs, but JT did have a better season all the way through more consistently. So great to see that. Side note, there is still the PGA Tour Player of the Year that is different from the PGA of America Player of the Year. It's all very confusing, but one of them is points based. That's what JT won. The Tour Player of the Year is voted on by the tour players themselves. So could be JT, could be DJ. I think those are the 2 leading candidates. I can't really see it going to anybody else, but that'll come up here and be announced within the next few weeks, maybe sooner. And then the final talking point, the US Open is right around the corner on the 17th. Big news. Brooks Koepka has withdrawn from the tournament, and media and golf fans are just having such a fun time with this because, as you know, if you watch the PGA Championship, Brooks Koepka had some very arrogant things to say before heading into the final round, basically saying he wasn't concerned about anybody else in the field. DJ's only won 1 major. Nobody else here knows how to close. I have what it takes. I'm probably going to win this golf tournament. I like my chances. And then he goes out and shoots +4 and has no chance of winning. After the round is done, he has to walk off with his tail between his legs and has to eat his words. So the fact now that he is withdrawing from the US Open, even though he says it's due to injury, he's probably telling the truth. I see no reason to believe otherwise. But one could make the case that maybe it's an injury to his pride more than anything else. So that's going to be fun to see how that unfolds with as the next major appears and with the Masters coming up in November. Let's see if he's ready to take that on, and if he's healed, whether it is physically or whether if he's healed his mental fortitude by then, whatever it may be. But that's it for me. This is Jonathan. Again, I'm really excited to be the Redline Golf Insider, and I'll be looking forward to bringing you guys further updates within the next few months. Thank you so much.